In this video, I'm going to be building a Target in Bloxburg. But before we begin, thank you guys so much for 60,000 subscribers, and if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe so we can push for 70,000. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Alrighty guys, so I think it's best to get started off here by connecting this Target obviously to the road, and it would also be good to kind of get, I guess, a grass line here. And so yeah, pretty much something like that, I guess. And then we can get like an entrance into the parking lot, probably about something right there. And there, as you guys can see, I have some pretty simple looking parking spots. I actually wouldn't mind changing up the texture of the road a little bit as you get into the parking lot. I think that's actually not a bad idea, so I can probably roll with that. And so yeah, there we go. I kind of like that texture for the parking lot. I'm starting to really like this parking lot design. I think if I just kind of keep rolling with something similar to this, I should be just fine. And so let's also not forget where the center of our plot is. So plot center is right there. Okay. All right, so now I'm kind of in a predicament here. I'm trying to figure out what to paint this filler. All right, so I feel like that's pretty good. Right here, actually, I'm going to cut this piece out, and I'm going to put handicapped parking spots here. All right, there we go. I'm a big fan of how that looks there. And then typically there's like an entire walkway right here. Basically, it's just like yield to walkers pretty much. Okay, so you guys kind of see what I did there. I kind of moved it back from this yellow line piece because I want to redo the design we did here just in a more effective way. But that's where our handicap parking is gonna be at. You know, you gotta just deal with it. I should probably add handicap parking though in all of these spots now that I think about it. Gosh, dude, I'm not doing myself any favors. There we go. Okay, that looks much more visually appealing, I think. If we want to change up the handicap blue color, we definitely can. Okay, there we go. Look how much better that blue is. All right, yeah, that is so much better. Okay, look at this sort of design I'm doing here with this floor. I'm a big fan of that. So something like that is really, really good. Then I'd like to transform it into something different over here. A bit more of a cloudy gray. But okay, guys, I am actually really loving this walkway. But yeah, like, look at that. I think that's really, really good. And then they do have sort of, I guess, a carpet. It's probably best if I make this carpet out of basic shapes, to be honest. Like, there we go. I think that looks so good. Oh my gosh, dude. I can even get the iconic Target red ball out here on the front. But yeah. Either way, actually, I'm really loving like kind of the frontage of this build. It'd probably be best now to get some parking lot lights, which again, our parking lot's not the biggest, but that's also kind of due to our plot size. Like, I mean, look at those parking lot lights. I think those are actually pretty good. And so now I'm going to start doing some details on the actual building. And to get this, I guess, layered effect, I can just simply use the vertical plank. Oh yeah, look at that pillar, bro. Look at that pillar. That's actually pretty sick. It would probably now help to get some actual doors into the building. So I'm not entirely sure just how big this is going to be, but just to stay safe, I'm going to make it about that long. Like, I kind of like this doors formation here we have going into the building. Alright guys, I'm just working on this window configuration here above the main entry. We're pretty much almost done with this. But yeah, that's a pretty nice looking window. And then over here on this, I would like to have the actual Target logo. So I'm going to do kind of a similar paneling that I did over on that red wall here with this one. So this should be pretty simple. The one main difference is that down here, I'm actually going to be having some big windows. And I guess like over here inside where you'd have all your shopping carts at. All right, guys, I finally figured out my design. So I literally just place it like this and then boom. We're just gonna pretty much trust that. We'll get a massive Target circle on there eventually. I'm actually gonna take off the top set of windows there. That way we can get a full-on roof on this thing. There we go, like something like that, yeah. That gives that some shine. It probably would also help to get like a brick pillar. Just a really nice and beautiful brick pillar going up to hold up this roof. Yeah, so something sort of like this pillar design here. Let me try to add in different brick colors though. And so there you go. As you guys can see, I have that, which I think is pretty cool. I can add this in like various spots. Oh yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's get a red Target ball out in front of each of these. Man, this build actually looks so cool now. But okay, there's that. Now, ideally, I need to make a cart return somewhere, which means I'm gonna have to sacrifice a lovely parking spot. I'm gonna try to find a way to get a curved, I guess, design here for this railing. This is gonna be really tough though. There you go. Look at that. That's actually not a terrible curve at all. And it is clonable. Let's go. And I think that's actually pretty cool. I'm actually gonna take the one out here in the middle. That way there's only two, so that way you get more parking. Plus it, I guess, kind of unclutters the middle of us a little bit more. Now I guess I need one big logo for over here. There we go. Look at that. And then now it's kind of just time to do this, I guess, this back wall. We can have a door here for like your actual Target workers. And then I just quite simply add these little beams here because there's a tiny extra detail. Sort of something like that over there. I kind of like that design for the building on that side. Overall, this building's looking pretty cool. We can try and get some tiny shrubbery now. So we're going to be doing a lot of heavy landscaping, I guess. I actually really like the way I'm kind of doing this landscaping along here. It's pretty simple. Not much to it, you know? It's still overgrown, but it's kind of maintained. I kind of like the order that it has. Just from this angle alone, this is a pretty good view at the target. And I guess it'd probably help to chuck in some ferns, some snake leaves plants, like just chucking in a nice variety in here. I'm actually going to move the target logo to about right there, because now we have enough room to put a birch tree leaning out this way. Oh yes, that's a cool view. Okay, so basically I got this trash can here. I think this actually turned out pretty good, especially for my standards. So I'm not going to be tolerating any slander on this bad boy. I think I did good with it. So yeah, hopefully you guys agree. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so I genuinely cannot believe that we still don't have shopping carts in the game. We have them as like a backpack item, but we don't have them in build mode. So that kind of sucks, especially for this build. All right, so there's that. All right, guys, I'm still working on this shopping cart. This is taking me forever. We sort of have something going here. I'm not the most talented at shopping carts. I've never made one before. Never attempted to make one before, and it's probably gonna stay that way after this build. Actually, that's a complete lie. At least it's not as bad as my school bus. Oh, there we go. There is a high quality shopping cart. That is actually pretty good. I actually really love that, and it's clonable. It's 13,000. Only 13,000 a shopping cart. That's pretty freaking good. All right, there we go. I've got a new parking sign here. It took me a little bit to add that, but I've made some tiny renovations around the build. So let me show you what's new. I have an entire interior sort of layout in here. Basically, over here is like our pharmacy section. Here is going to be the backstock on this side, and here also is the backstock on this side. Here are your like changing rooms, and I figured I'd actually make this wall pop out here. That way I can put most of my clothing stuff for sale right in here. This is your fulfillment area, so if you don't know what that is, basically if you don't want to come into the store to shop, you can just have people shop for you and they'll bring it out to your car. So this would be where you kind of would keep those carts at. Here's a bathroom, here's a bathroom, this is a hallway. Here's where all the indoor carts are, so you basically would come inside and you'd find these like shopping carts in here, but you sort of get the idea. Over here is customer service, and then this takes you right into like the lounge for employees. Here can be like your HR's office, and then right here is a nice bathroom. I guess a mini bathroom. That leaves us with plenty of space here on the floor. But yeah, overall I have a pretty good vibe about this building. We can start on the interior now, and I guess right away you should probably be greeted by the checkout lines. So to do these properly is going to be very interesting. We can probably make a pretty long checkout line here. I don't think that's too much of a problem. I just really need to put some detail into this. But okay, we're sort of off to a good start here. Use the nice register right here. And then I'd like a little like kind of, I guess, mini section down here, where basically you'd put everyone's bags out once they're done. So pretty much something like this. I mean, like, that's pretty good. I've seen worse designs. Dude, why do we not have an empty laundry basket, bro? These actually would kind of be perfect for shopping baskets. But yeah, basically then put like these bags right here. We'll like line up the bags that somebody can put the stuff in, I guess right there. That should be just fine. And then there's like a little desk right here. And then on this side, this desk has its own like wall. And on that wall, there's like snacks, like certain like candy bars and all that fun stuff. I actually really like the way that looks. Wait. The only problem is I don't actually know what I'd put on there. Basically, guys, I'm just spending way too much time trying to clutter up this space right here. But you know what? I should be okay. Here's where like you have that little box that shows like which lane is open, I guess. And then I guess if I just put like a commercial trash can at the end of each of these, does that sort of make sense? I think. I don't know. I feel like I've done a pretty decent job here of this. All right, so now we need to actually figure out where to place these at, so that way they don't really interfere too much with our entry. All right, I think I have enough checkout lines now, which is good. Just now I'm simply copy and pasting stuff around. And yeah, so what? We have five checkout lines, that's good. And then obviously there are the areas too for self-checkout, so I guess I could add that. I'm almost done with this one here. Making the self Checkout's a little bit tougher for some reason. As long as we can get a couple self-checkouts in here, we should be all good. And then down here, you obviously do have like bags. So I guess I'll leave those like that. But as you guys can see, this is entirely movable, just like this, which is pretty good. And I can easily place a few of these then. But yeah, this is actually pretty good. I'm actually really happy with how this looks. Overall, that's not bad at all, and you can still easily get around the sides of it. And so most of the floor up to this point here is still that kind of typical, I guess, glossy, like, floor finish that Target has. I think that texture there is the best one we can use. So that is what I'm gonna roll with. And then as you walk in, it's actually carpet, which makes sense. So that way, you know, you can, I guess, make sure you get all the rain off your shoes or whatever. That way the store obviously doesn't get like super wet. So makes sense to do that. And then on this side for our carts, I can make a different type of tile. Something sort of like that. But otherwise, so far, I'm actually pretty happy with this interior. I'm gonna make this kind of overhead wall, I guess, extend right here. I'll make this be like a 1-floor area. And then, of course, it probably would help to get some ceiling work along the entire store, just with beams and all that fun stuff. So I have actually a really dark ceiling sort of planned out. But yeah, basically I have this copy and pastable beam right here, which is really useful. So I can just clone that all the way through the back of the store. The only issue is, oh, I hate when that happens to me. Okay, that should be fine now. Now I have the painful process of transforming all these all the way up. Oh man, which that's never a fun one. And now actually would be a good time to get some actual lights in here. So by using the industrial ceiling lamp, and I guess, yeah, if I do something like that, that works, as I can just literally place it in the middle between all of these here. And we'll see how the lighting works if I need to space these out a little bit more. I'm definitely willing to do that. Although I'm gonna do these every 3 blocks apart, just like our beams. And hopefully this should light up the store pretty well. I'm actually really liking the way that looks. Yeah, that's gonna look sick, okay. But okay, as you guys can see, I mean, it lights that up pretty well. And it gets down to the floor definitely, so that's good. And doing the ceiling, I was kind of torn because some Targets do like a type of shingle design, but other super Targets, I guess, kind of do more of this design for the ceiling. So I figured I'd go for this design here because it looks a lot cooler in my opinion. Although it's definitely a lot harder to do. But okay, there's 1 row of ceiling things done. And from the ground standpoint, that's actually pretty good. It looks really good when you walk in, I think. I have to do air ducts as well, because obviously we would like to probably keep this place air conditioned. I feel like that's a good investment. So I'm going to try and come up with a nice texture here for these. We can definitely get creative and do some cool looking ones, I think. Oh yeah, that's going to be cool. Okay. And so as you guys can see now, this is literally clonable just like that. Oh, absolutely. That is a good one. And they definitely take up a lot of ceiling space and add plenty of detail. Although the plot data on this build is definitely going to be high. And so that's something I should check in on here soon. But yeah, like look at this from the ground perspective. Oh my gosh. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Something actually that would be really cool to add is there is this like tiny ceiling detail. They're pretty much just like these like little wooden beams. And so I can definitely add some of those in here. Yeah, like I kind of like the way that looks. That's just a neat addition there, I guess. In case you're lost somehow in this tiny store, you just look up and find where those are and like, oh, hey, I know where the checkout lanes are now. But yeah, either way, really like the way this interior looks here. Now it probably would be best to get our aisles. But anyways, for the backdrop in the aisles, I think it'd be good to use a specific texture I have in mind. Yeah, this one right here. Weirdly enough, it actually kind of reminds me of like the little holes that they have in the aisles. And then there are these end caps, which if you don't know what end caps are, basically they're the shelves at the end of each aisle. Wow, who would have thought that, right? Okay, sorry. But yeah, either way, they don't usually have too much on these except for like trending items and stuff like that. So, all right, we're gonna use structurals here for our shelves. So the wooden plank, I choose you. And I feel like overall that's a pretty good size and dispersion for our shelves. But yeah, basically I can just add a crap ton of aisles in the back here, and it sort of takes you over to this food area. And then now I need to add on my end caps. Yeah, there we go. We have a lot of really good stuff here in terms of the ceiling. So something I guess Target has like a signature for is their little runways, we call them. And basically these just go along each of the walking spaces. Yeah, there we go. I kind of like the runways going around the store. I mean, it's a tiny realistic touch that is in real Targets, so I'll take it. Alrighty guys, I am here today. We're gonna be building some more in our Target. So over here, I got kind of a roof, I guess, for the carts section, just because I felt like it. And then I did redo all of my aisles, so they're all painted a different color. I also made some marks here just to kind of fill them in later on. But what I would like to do is get some wooden crates as like storage bins. And actually, if I could resize these, that would be perfect. Oh, I can. Okay, so I can make these like the max size, right? And so I literally can just stack them up like this, and then I can just place this a few times. And literally, if I do this, this is perfect for the market section. Then I guess in the back, I'm not going to really decorate anything, so it probably would be best to do a commercial display fridge. So I could have some of those have drinks and other ones be like empty, where it'd be like freezer stuff. I'm not entirely sure if I could decorate those or not. And then I also do need doors into my Backstock area. So I'm going to put a door here, and I will also put a door like probably about actually right here. And I could probably even have a cafe section in this corner. That actually isn't too out of the ordinary, I don't think. But yeah, in general, I feel like we have a pretty good store. And then I could literally fill this with actual like groceries in the game. So I believe if I was to go to like my fridge, which thankfully I have an entire wall of them right there, I could probably pull stuff out and put that in those barrels. Also, look how tall these carts are. Whoops, I kind of made an error there, that's my bad. But if I was to view the content in here, I literally could grab some bananas. Oh yeah, let me just grab all of these then. There should be a take all button. I might actually have to take the trip to the in-game grocery store. But yeah, as you guys can see, I literally have real bananas in here, which that's pretty cool. I think that's a nice touch. But yeah, I'll definitely have to go get some more food. Alright, you guys, I've started on some of this, man. I'm gonna have to place so much food, but by the time I'm back, I'm gonna be adding in some decals, so I'll have like a market sign up there. I'll probably get some letters here on each of these checkout lanes, along with the self-checkout area. Alright, as a quick little update here, I've got the entry to the Target, sort of. I also have numbers here on our checkout lanes, along with the self-checkout wording. I even put stuff here on the aisles. They all say good stuff, because that's all we sell here. But anyways, I think it's time to probably just design some more. I think it'd be pretty cool to get a commercial display case and have some things in that as well. I mean, I just really like that idea. I think that fits in really well, especially. So that's a huge kind of bonus. And it actually would be kind of cool if I had like a Starbucks over here. Because what do Target people love to get? They love to get Starbucks. So I feel like it'd be cool to kind of have that there. And then they usually have like a bit of a lower section, like something like that almost. And then I could even put the commercial display case actually right here as well. And then I'm definitely going to need a ceiling here for the Starbucks. So I could literally just place it like this, make it this dark gray. And then if I was to just raise it up like this, I feel like the store's gonna look a lot better once I get all this stuff along the walls. So I need to add like security cameras and all that. And then I obviously have to decorate all of my aisles too. All right, so there, as you guys can see, I have that as filler. Now I would like to get like an industrial beam going across, and then this will be what I have my lights on. And yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. I can sort of roll with that. Now I need some support strings. Yeah, there we go. Now it's like actually hanging. Okay. Obviously, I'd have to go through and add some extra stuff later. Although Target is notorious for having massive walls of literally just TVs. And I think that is all of them, thankfully. But yeah, I kind of forgot about the design of the Starbucks, so let me actually get a counter in here. All right, yeah, there we go. Those are some nice details. And then I guess here in the back, I could use like a half wall, almost like a wall trim, but I'm gonna make it custom because I wouldn't want this going down obviously our entire wall. But yeah, sort of something like that. Didn't they add menus? I could have sworn. Yeah, they did add menus. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay. I think now it would be best to get some actual appliances. So at Starbucks, I could quite literally probably just put a few counters and get away with this. It's not like it's, you know, the most heavy like food chain or anything like that. You know, you're just going there for a couple of literal drinks. So should be okay. That's a really nice Starbucks area. And I guess I could literally put some like dining tables too if I really wanted. And there we go. Dang, that's a nice corner of the store. I think it would be nice to kind of fill in some of these shelves over here now, just by copy and pasting these items. But yeah, like as you guys can see, that would be a very expensive piece to copy. That's like 8,500. Then if we were to do the other side here, oh no, I got a bad feeling about this. I don't know, you guys can comment down below which items you'd use to fill these aisles with. And if you know any easier ways to actually make stores, please feel free to share down in the comments below. I'd love to make some more if this video does well. But yeah, look at that, 16K to clone that. Oh my god, yeah, I'm gonna get that out of the way now. I could do a full like office section here. So if I did like desk organizers, that works. Okay, so that's one thing. There's not much I can place. Wait a minute. You've got to be kidding me, bro. There's no way there's an entire grocery section already in the game for me. That helps out a lot. Let's get rid of all those items we just placed and let's put legitimate groceries then. What am I doing? I cannot express the amount of disappointment in myself though. How did I not realize that, dude? Although this is definitely adding some money to the value, but it's a Capto build. What did you expect? They all have to be like 2 million. Otherwise why in the world would they exist? Oh yeah, okay. Wait, how much is that? Oh, 10,000. I thought that said something way worse. I was about to crash out. All right, I'm not gonna use any more groceries as of right now. It probably would be best to use like actual bottles of stuff now. Yeah, dude, this is quite the expensive design. But at this rate, by the time I'm done with these, I will be like 80. We have, what is it, 12 aisles, I believe? But at least we're filling them in, you know? But like, I could be leaving this blank, but I'm not. I'm not doing that. That's why you should subscribe, because I'm dedicated like that. Yeah, just spent a couple $100,000 on all of those aisles, but man, does that look pretty cool now that it's actually done. I don't know what to put on this back wall right here. Maybe, oh, I could put mirrors. Oh, yo, that'd be sick. But yeah, basically there's an entire mirrors section and electronics, of course. All right, there we go, guys. I am here. I got a little bit of like a sign detail, which is there for the market side, which I really like that. I also got electronics and style done the same way. And I would like to do our style section probably now. I think that is a good idea. And as you guys can see, I mean, that is a lot of clothes there. Okay, there's that. Along the walls, I can literally just put dressers up for sale. So, like, there's the wardrobes. Then I can put like some of these out. Maybe these are just like our display pieces, but it is good to have those out, obviously. And then I can put like other dressers here with like boxes on top as like our shoe aisles almost. Yeah, there we go. There's some of those. Let me get a more appealing texture here. There we go. I think that's a little easier to look at. Then I can put like one of these little border fences here outside the changing rooms, I guess. I'll also put my style sign here, just since, I mean, it is in the style section. And then I do need to get a secondary ceiling above a lot of parts, so let me quickly do that. And for this ceiling, I can easily use the ceiling tiles. Overall, the store is looking pretty good. Here is the fulfillment area, and so in here I can quite literally just copy and paste some carts from the outside, and basically we just put those there. And then I literally just put like commercial shelving, and yeah, nothing too challenging about that. I literally put that there. I could put like a freezer over here on this side actually, that way if you have to take like food out. Where's the freezer at? I'll just put like a commercial fridge there. We're at 1.5 million value, which that is a bit intimidating, but I would like to get like a line of carts like they have in real life. But yeah, as you can see, we got plenty of carts lined up there. Very useful. Then down here, we just literally put the bathrooms. So we have to have a bunch of stalls, obviously. And I'm not going to use actual stalls. I'm just going to do typical door design. That way I save myself some time and money. I'm liking the build. I'm liking the build. Oh, this is very expensive. Hopefully the next time I do a store, assuming this one does good, it's not nearly as expensive as this build is. So I've just spent a little too much money for my standards, and it's not fun when you spend this much money. It really is not. I don't enjoy spending this much money. Okay, there we go. There's those bathrooms there. So in the changing rooms, I can probably put some like new wall hooks that they just added. They actually did just add these wall hooks, so actually I'm a big fan of that. Then we put a big mirror along this side probably, which I always got kind of disturbed by the big mirrors in the changing rooms, but you know what? We're just gonna roll with it here. Then I put like a nice bench, and then I also put like a dresser. And yeah, I mean, that's a pretty simple design for changing rooms. It gets the job done. Over here, I do have the customer service section that I had done previously, and overall this light actually does a really nice job. So yeah, there's customer service. Okay, yeah, that's decent for the pharmacy. Gets the job done. Here is a bathroom, which this is literally just a, I guess more like of a family bathroom sort of, or can also be seen as an employee's bathroom. You got the nice toilet there. Either way though, that's pretty good. Here is our break room, and then we have the HR's office to do. You can put like a vending machine. There's that. Let me add some cabinets. Just for extra amenities, I can put cabinetry with a microwave. Yes, microwave. Oh yeah, those are cool. Okay. HR's office will make this be carpet. And then in here, we literally just put a desk. And we can also put some like books, which if you guys don't know what HR is, that's basically the person who like organizes all of the shifts. Yeah, nothing too special about that. Okay, so now we have everything done on the floor. Now we just have to do the backstock sections, which this is really interesting. So I'm gonna make the walls be concrete, and then our floor here also is probably gonna be concrete, which I get you're probably like, whoa, 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 why are we doing a concrete jungle? Although that is really accurate to how they run in real life. Okay, if you're wondering how we're going to do our shelving in here, I think the best way to do the shelving is by using the heavy duty shelves, and we can stack those up and quite literally just place like boxes and stuff on them. So just by literally having some open boxes, some closed ones, along with some crates, like that alone adds quite a bit of detail to the build. And I can do this literally just for a crap ton of aisles. And as you guys can see, look at those aisles. Those are really well done. Plus we have open space here for the truck. And then to kind of get like a nice like back wall, I can also do the same thing here. And then if I go to miscellaneous, like surely we have those like push carts? Yeah. The loaded flat carts. Like, yeah, I can put plenty of these in here. Plus some empty ones, along with some of these. Dude, that's perfect. Oh my gosh. And then I just go over to the other one over here. Dude, oh my gosh. Why is the backstock low-key the best part of the build? And there we go. Every single room in my target has been completed. Oh my gosh, bro. We're looking at $1.6 million and 57% plot data. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye, everybody.